What's up guys, welcome back. Super Saiyan 3 Goku from Daima. So this is the front facing pose. Clearest picture I could see, clear still, apart from the one where he's transformed into 4 and he's screaming, but this one's cool. And they kind of give it darker around the edge. Anyway, landscape page, pencil eraser, hit pause if I go too fast. So eyebrows, or lack of eyebrows. So it's like a check mark. So we'll just go this way. Right, well, doom. You don't have to do the sound effects. And then we carve up this way. Right? Pretty much same on the other side. So we go down again. There. So it's easiest in Dragon Ball, I think, to get the eyebrows first. Especially when they're facing forward like this. You just do this check mark either side. And always in 3, in Super Saiyan 3, they like curve it up, you know, for the brow area. And he does have these little sort of frowny things, hatch lines, you know, just on his forehead. Little hairy sort of lines. And then he has those wrinkles in between his brows as well. So that's the brow area. And then we'll do the eyes. So we're kind of going more, well, the one on the right is curved, but we'll probably even them up a bit. So we'll go short line. They kind of give a black shadow, I think, like Super Saiyan 4. The long line. Now you have an option, you could curve, in Daima they go down and up sometimes, right? But this one they kind of do a mix, but I want them to be kind of the same. So we'll go curve it up and down. So if you wanted the more Daima style, you could curve down and up instead of up and down. Do you know what I mean, when you're joining them together? And I think they add like a Super Saiyan 4 style darker line here. So that is totally up to you if you want to do that. I kind of think it looks cool. So I've never seen that with 3. Super Saiyan 3. Right, and he's quite large green irises underneath here and a pupil as well. So just like a little semicircle kind of looking up. And then here as well, you do the black portion of his pupil that you can kind of barely see there. Yeah. So it makes him look super angry. Then we do same on this side, right? So you'll do your short line. Just going that way. And then the long line coming from the corner. And then you want to curve these up and down, kind of the same as the other side. It's like a slight little bend on it. Doesn't have to be major. And then I might just darken this up a wee bit. Okay. And then we'll give him that small iris. We'll try and make it like this gap between the edge of his iris and the inside there. You want to like make that kind of even, or he'll kind of look cross-eyed, you know. So you want this space and this to be about the same. And then you'll just go again with that small semicircle under there, and then the pupil real small as well. Tiny. That one's even smaller. Right, so nose, so we will hook it down. So we'll go this way, down, around. It kind of looks like a sort of a fishing hook or something, like so. And then they always add the shadow, so it like comes from the corner down, up, right, and then it goes around here. So they always add it to the kind of like the bridge of the nose area. And then they got the cheek marks, sort of hatching lines. Just on his cheeks. He's got a big confident smile, real close to the nose, flat at first, but then curves up. And we can add, there's like a little sort of cheek curve sort of there. I might curve this up on this side a little bit. It's often less curved on one side than the other. And then they have the standard hatching lines underneath there. So his chin, just down here, real angled facial features. And like roughly the eye to the bottom of his nose is about the same as bottom of the nose to the chin. And bottom of the nose to this shadow under his bottom lip is about the same as bottom lip to chin. That's kind of the proportions in Dragon Ball that they use. So we're trying to get that jaw now. So we're aiming, when you're coming from the chin, you're aiming sort of mouth level and underneath the corners of his eyes when a character is looking straight forward, right? So we're aiming for like this spot, you know, like right here. Sort of across from the mouth, underneath the corner of his eye. Same like here, you know, there somewhere. There's a bit of wiggle room. It doesn't have to be exactly like that, but that's where we're going for. Right? And then we'll go over this way as well. Okay, so it's kind of that wine glass or V sort of shape. That's where it changes direction, so it doesn't keep going that way. It kind of bends and goes up towards the eyebrow area and the sideburn. Okay. Right, same on the other side. Like so. And then, so the sideburns always come out from there, right? They go kind of in towards his eyebrow. They're usually these little spikes. Kind of different in Daima. They're not as spiky, but it's just a habit with me now. Okay. And then the ear. Whoa, down here, sorry, not up there. The ear comes out from beside the eyebrow. And they're usually bigger ears in Dragon Ball than you might expect. We do the same over here. Like so. Bum, 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 bum. Sometimes the sideburns have these little extra lines on them just there. Right, ear lines then, they do it pretty simply. So simplest way is like this letter J sort of thing. Most animes started with that anime. And if you want, like, you can do a little bit extra. Hair. So we got one sort of hair spike covering his right eye, and then lots of hair spikes coming out from behind his neck and everything. Okay, right, so say like the middle, right? So usually your nose and your forehead are about the same size, but like because his nose is so small, it's not in this case. So it's probably like the bottom of his nose to like the top of this frown even, right? So that space is about equal to where his hairline would be. So like a little sort of V there. So like that and that are about the same, roughly, there and there. And then like his hairline goes out around to the sideburns and the spike, right? So say if I went like here with the hairline, kind of gets a bit zigzaggy here, and then it goes zigzaggy that way, but there's a spike here, so like a, you know, one that comes down over his eye, just a little curved line, and then it's like standard like Dragon Ball hair spike basically, like that. And then the rest of the hairline comes out the other side. There's all these texture lines and all this, but we'll do all those with the rest of the hair. So in this still from the show, top of his hair is cut off. To kind of, it's like a cropped, zoomed in shot. So we'll go like off my page. A few more room, of course. Just they all go to like singular spikes. Right, this one like comes back in, say there. And we got like another one going that way. Like so. Right, so like the rest of the hairspray kind of comes out this way and then like behind his neck. So say I'll just curve in the neck here. We'll just put in his big neck muscles. Kind of comes down from his ear. This one comes out like further over there. So maybe his head is turned a bit. Right, and then we got his like trapezius just going that way. And I'm just doing this first because a lot of his hair goes in behind. So that's like his neck muscles and stuff. So let's try this. So hair spikes. So say like there's a pretty big one comes out from his neck here. It just goes in that way. And then there's another one here. It goes in towards this way. And then one that goes up. Like you can just see the tip of that one there. And then it goes back into there. And then there's one that goes, say like out even wider. Back in. And then one that goes off the page like that way. And then maybe back in there. And then we go down, so it's like the biggest sort of hairstyle, right? So there's spikes, overlapping spikes going in behind his back, like all down his back and everything. So, but we got to draw like his anatomy and everything before we do those. But basically that's that side. So then let's try over here. Well, apart from the ones behind all of that. Like say there's like, you know, a little one sticking out here as well. You know, but anyway. we'll build it up gradually. Another one there. Yep, here. Yep. And the little one's going off the top of my page. And then one here. There's like a massive one here. And that like goes behind his shoulders. And I think there's an extra one here even. Wherever you can fit them, really. Okay, so there is more hair, but we got to draw shoulders first. So I'll just add textures to everything. Right, so just one or two little lines. Like so. And then, so anatomy, shoulders, right? So these two neck muscles that come from your jaw always go to the center of your chest. Always, right? So that's like the middle of his chest muscle. And then the top of them bend real large. Like that way. And that way. And then in Dragon Ball, they give an extra sort of, it's like where the shoulder joins the chest, like the deltoid muscle. And then he has his orange gi coming across. It like crisscrosses here, just at the bottom of his chest. Inside there, his blue t-shirt. Very clever color design, orange and blue, complementary colors. They are opposite each other in the color wheel. Am I right about this? I could be wrong. No, orange and blue are complementary. Purple and yellow. Anyway. And then like some fold lines on all that. And we get the shoulder area, right? And it kind of bumps because, you know, it's fabric. So they do this very sort of curved fabric thing. And then like, it's like an open martial art sort of thing. With all these folds on them. This one, so like the bicep goes over his body here. Or not, over his body here, and then under his body. So he's like walking. So like one arm is behind the other. You could make him even if you wanted, but you'll see what I mean. So like say here, his bicep comes over this line, but on this side, the bicep is behind. So it's just different pose, really. Right, so his blue t-shirt section that comes over his shoulders just here. And on this side, so it comes out like so. So that's clothing, and then muscles on his arms. So deltoid, shoulder, there, little triangle, tricep, out, in, and then bottom of the tricep, there. Bicep goes behind his body, there. Bicep on this side is in front, right? So they do this. Blue T goes in, and then bicep comes down. And then deltoid, little triangle, kind of bigger because it's this shoulder is coming towards. See, he's kind of like walking. This is like pushed back, and this is like forward a bit. And that's his body, and we'll just finish the hair. Look, there's another hair spike down there even. Little texture lines on the hair. Did I miss any of them? No. And if you want like little sort of blue lightning or aura, is always good in Dragon Ball, especially in Super Saiyan 3. Maybe I'll put one right across his body here. Okay. Super Saiyan 3 Goku Daima. Hope it's helpful. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.